What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sales Remastered. My name is Daniel and I'm your host. In this episode of Sales Remastered, I'm gonna cover a topic that's most important. Today's Monday, by the way, June 18th, right? 15, 16, 17, yep. And I hope that you had an awesome Father's Day. You know, you don't need to be a father, a biological father to anyone. You could be a father image, you know what I mean? Like, you could be a provider like you were a father. You could be a mentor, kind of like that older brother effect. Some sort of guider, if that's even a word. And you know what? To be honest with you, you don't even really need to have another person to be like a father influence. You, in my opinion, I think father really defines like a creator, right? Like I'm the father of this, right? And so even like in movies, if someone creates, like Frankenstein, right? Like you create something, you're Frankenstein's father or something, or you're that creator's father. And so you could be a creator, you know, in order to have that kind of father-like persona. And so salute to you. You know, hopefully you had a good Father's Day. And I personally had an amazing Father's Day. I had a chance to just really just be lazy, just kind of just lay back, relax, and enjoy the day. And I think that's important because you obviously have to take some time to really credit yourself and not worry about, you know, the following day. You know, don't worry about the time. Don't worry about what you're going to do. Don't worry about getting ready. And so there's a lot of time to, you know, worry about that. But yesterday in particular was my day not to. And so in this episode, I'm going to talk about a topic that I had a chance to think about yesterday. As a matter of fact, I actually was reminded this morning from the gym. And I shot a pretty good episode of Breakfast of Champions. But, you know, there's these random details where if you forget like a slight detail, like in my opinion, or in my case, I did I think it was like a 13-minute video this morning on my way home from the gym. And, you know, it was a good session. I was like, all right, cool. This is going to be cool. You know, I went inside the house into my office and started uploading the video. And so finally the video is uploaded. I put it in Final Cut Pro and I'm like, man, this is going to be dope. You know, I'm looking for my sneak preview that I usually do on Breakfast of Champions. And by the way, like, you know, do you like those things? Like, you like how it has that sneak preview before it goes into the topic? Let me know, comment below. But this morning when I shot this morning's video for Breakfast of Champions, I was going through it for that edit, looking for that sneak preview. And I noticed something. The video was there, but the audio wasn't. Man, all you saw me doing was like that. There was no audio, bro. Man, you know, and that's happened to me a few times. Like, I've tried to record a couple sessions just to find out the mic wasn't even on, or there's no audio. And, you know, in all reality, I could be bummed out about it, but then I remember that this is just practice. And so, you know, this morning when I started to look for inspiration, because that's part of my morning ritual, right? Is look for inspiration. Because in your morning ritual, you shouldn't look for problems. Like, I think we do that enough throughout the day. We look for things that are wrong. Well, in the morning, I think we have to flip it. We have to actually look for things that are right, or look for things that make it right. And so I found that looking for inspiration has helped me. You know, it's enabled me to put my focus somewhere else, because if I'm not putting my focus towards finding inspiration, what I used to do was put my focus towards finding, you know, problems or situations or scenarios that, you know, even the best of us will look at and always expect kind of the worst case. And so in this episode, I want to talk about why, because I think there's two sides to the why coin. And why I chose why and why I talked about why this morning is because, you know, in my search of something inspirational, I found a video by Simon Sinek. If you don't know who Simon Sinek is, Simon Sinek, last name is spelled S-I-N-E-K. And he did a TED Talk on the topic of why. If you haven't checked it out, I'll try to remember to leave a link below this video. But in his TED Talk, he basically adapted your deeper layer of why, like, you know, your message, your why. We all have our own why, and he adapted it to business, right? Like brand names like Apple, and And ultimately, at the core of anything, there's a why. And so I think that this applies even in sales. Like there's two, what I was talking about of there being two sides of the coin, is that there's good and bad, right? And then there's also ours and theirs. And so I'll give you two examples. So the good and bad of why. So the good version, right? The reason why we do things or why we got into sales is because the good upside. It's because of the high checks, the freedom, the financial, security that it provides. You have to be good at it though, right? Not everyone's going to jump into sales and just find financial security. And so you have your why, right? Like I'm getting into sales, or I do what I do because I like helping people. And in the process of helping people and educating people, I make a good living out of it. So that's my good why. The bad why though is in sales, right? Is, oh, I don't want to call this person because they might not like my rate. That's a bad why. Or I don't like working with people with these last names because they tend to, right? That's a bad why. Or I'm not good at cold calling because that's a bad why. Basically, the bad whys are excuses, and then on the flip side, where it could become ours and theirs, right? Like our why again could be for income or monetary gain. Our why could be because we're under pressure. Our why could be because we just like expensive, meaningless things, right? And then their why, their why, meaning the prospect's why, is most in particular, the reasons why they ignore you, or why they choose not to call you back, or why they don't buy from you, is because they have their own why. And it's our riddle to find out the reasons of their why, because when we typically call as salesmen, we're trying to find the why, and that's why our tonality sounds like we're offering things, because we're hoping that they'll bite at something, and then we'll distinguish their why. And so then we can change our scripting or our wordplay or our conversation or our tonality once we identify the why. And if you notice that your tonality usually comes out better towards the end of a sale, like after you ask for a sale and they reject you, your tonality comes out different. It's you're not offering anymore, you're pleading. All right. In some cases, some of us shit even has a tonality of begging, right? Like, oh, come on, man, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Come on, let's just do it. Come on. Like you're playing just the tip. Nasty ass. Anyway, I want you to think about your why, because your why is going to be greater than any caffeine drink or any fight or hype music. Caffeine's even stronger than, like when you wear something that fits you real good and you feel solid in it, right? Like it's like, oh man, here we go. Like you feel like Superman almost. And it makes you feel a certain type of way. And so I want you to feel that certain type of way, and sometimes you need to do A, B, and C just to feel that type of way. And whatever your ABC is, I want you to identify that is a reason that you can hack, or that is a reason that you can kind of rewrite, kind of like the way softwares react when we turn on our phone or when we reboot our computer. There's a specific process and a formula of that process that enables certain programs or certain formulas to be executed and complete. And so I want to share with you one main reason as to why you probably watch these videos. Why you watch these videos is maybe sometimes you might find it motivational, you might find it educational, but I believe why is because it's different. It's different than the content you're getting elsewhere, and it's different than the limited amount of resources that truly teach you how to sell. And if we really understand how general and vague sales is really about communication, and we sell ourselves all the time. And so maybe that's why, like, you like the way it kind of influences you to change the way you communicate. You know what I mean? And so I want you to think about that today, and leave your comment below. Let me know what you think about the new content, about the new Breakfast of Champions, about the new video sting, and I'll see you on there.